Alright then folks, this is the part 2 video of our black-white Orzhov Clerics deck. If you want to see the part 1 draft portion and the deck overview, um, just watch the part 1. We're just going to move on to the final boss. We are currently 6-2 with this deck. We got off to a rough start, losing I think the second game we lost and then the fourth game we lost. But the second game was literally a game that I don't think we could have won. And then, no, the other game we lost was due to a red-white landfall deck that managed to kill us pretty quickly. But overall, I don't think. I mean, I could have maybe played smarter in the against the landfall deck, but the black-white clerics deck that we faced definitely wasn't something I. It was a long shot on beating it, and then the red-white landfall deck, he had a molten blast to kill my lifelinker, even though I made a misplay and I was gonna get lethal anyways with some bad blocks that I made. But yeah, 6-2. Let's move on to the final boss, and yep. Get hopefully another 7-win video to upload, but still a worthy video to upload. And even if we lose, I still get to go through the pack openings. And all right, opening hand. Ooh, I guess we can just always play this tapped. Feed the Swarm, Blood Price. Not an amazing hand, but always if you're on the play, you don't really want to go down too much. You don't really want to mulligan, so I think it's a keep. And I'm forced to maybe play this tapped. I hate to do this, but I think so, and I might have to just fire off a Feed the Swarm early if the opponent plays a pretty scary threat. So, yeah, hopefully we draw into something decent, and then maybe if we pick up the Tazim Raptor to pick up our Skyclave Cleric, that can also be pretty nice. But on the play, I think I'm keeping. And then we just have to rely on top decks and maybe this Blood Price giving us some good cards. I'd be damned if I top deck a Plains. But you never know. I'm not going to take the risk. Don't try to take too much risk sometimes, and your games are more consistent. Okay, we didn't get white, so we got rewarded for not taking the risk. And I can vanquish and clear a path against like a creature next turn. Feed the Swarm might be reasonable too, but it could answer a bigger bomb, of course. I don't really care about this. Like, yeah, I don't really care. We even have Feldar Retreat, so yeah, I think I'll keep up my Vanquish here, and I can block the 1/3. If he tries some sort of trick, I'll just Vanquish it in response. And there could be another scary card I need to deal with instead. And then we can cast Blood Price next turn and get a land for the Feldar Retreat. Or we can just get a creature. That's a good card. I don't mind Vanquishing ASAP. Let's kill it end of turn, because this card is pretty amazing. It's best in blue-red spells, but, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't play this outside of blue-red spells, but now we have time to tap out and play the Blood Price. And we also have land step next turn for the Feldar, so I think we Blood Price here. And then Shepherd looks excellent, and a Kabira Takedown could also be a land, so I don't hate it here. And then we can still block the 1/3. He might have some Pump Trick, but I don't care. I don't have too much instant speed to interact with this. This is at 3 toughness, so I highly doubt we're going to use a Kabir Takedown on this. Scorched Rider, okay, I think I need to Feed the Swarm on that. Or play Feldar, play land. Do I really want to take 4? I guess I don't want to take 4 since I'm going to take 4 from the Feed the Swarm. So I think we do this. And I actually don't mind losing some land value here, or yeah, I could just play land, play Shepherd, and then keep another land in hand. Yeah, I lose out on value with this, but I think it's still fine. I just had to kill a Scorched Rider, because if I take 4 from it, and I take another 4 from the Feed the Swarm, it might be too much. This card I don't care about too much. It helps him ramp, but I don't care. And if he does play like a Geopede, I can answer with a Kabir Takedown end of turn, so that's quite nice. And I could Farsight Adept draw a card, use Kabir Takedown, but I think the Shepherd is just obviously better. It's on curve, it gains me a little bit of life. It gains me 4 life, so that's quite great, and we're going to keep the lands in hand. Next turn we can Feldar and start gaining value by making creatures. Thundering Rebuke, that's quite nice, and maybe take 3. Since I'm probably planning to make a 2/2 anyways, with the Feldar Retreat, we can afford to take 3. And I'll block the 1/3 here. It's not unreasonable if he wants to. It's kind of like a free roll. Might have 1 damage here. Okay, we'll see. Mesa Links, whatever. It's only a 2/3 on his turn, but I'm fine just playing out the Felidar Retreat here. Make sure I tap my mana properly. And then, yeah, I'll cast this and then play a land. Better to get the bomb out first. And then keep up the takedown in case on the Mesa Links if I have to, end of turn, or the Ardent Electromancer if he tries something, so... Yeah, but this card is such a bomb, he needs to disenchant. I guess he just concedes. Okay, I guess the final boss doesn't care, he doesn't want to play Reading Out because this card is just too bonkers. So yeah, Feldar Retreats was an excellent first pick. Drana was a pretty excellent pack 3 pick 1. And I forgot what we pack 2 pick 1. I think it was Thwart the Grave, which is also a really reasonable first pick and an excellent 2 for 1. But so yeah, this draft panned out quite nicely, and I'm quite happy showcasing the results. So yeah. Alright, and then I'm just going to... Alright, I think I take a picture of the... Yeah, I think I took the picture of the deck already. Okay, yep, let's claim our prize. And then let's crack some packs and pretend we're drafting Zendikar Rising. Let's cycle this away. Alright, pack 1, pick 1, Zendikar Rising draft. What do we have the fine pleasure of opening? Pack 1, pick 1. Okay, I'm definitely going to take a Shaya here, because the Shaya is single color, and green is a good color in this set. I think it's like medium, but this is a definitely really strong card, since any creature you play counts as a forest, and this can just pretty much grow. So it's an easy pack 1, pick 1. The second card I don't mind picking here is the Spoils of Adventure. Obviously, it is 2 colors, but I think it's a lot better than Nahiri's Binding. Nahiri's Binding is a good card, but it does have limitations in the set due to the fact that it is not only double white, but there's just so many bounce effects in the set. I mean, yeah, there's just Into the Royal, and blue is a really popular color, and the double white is hard to cast, and then there's just so many like hexproof tricks, bounce tricks, counter spells in blue that the Nahiri's Binding isn't super amazing. There's also Feed the Swarm in black, which also destroys enchantments. So like the Nahiri's Binding not only is a little bit tougher to cast than the other removal spells and the other colors, but there's just so many ways to deal with it that I don't mind playing this in the white deck, and I'll be happy to pick 1 or 2 or 3 copies of these up. But yeah, it does have limitations, so yeah, Spoils of Adventure, pretty strong card. Although, about the party mechanic, it's not the easiest to get going. It's definitely a lot harder than Landfall, obviously, and Kicker, and the Ninja's Mill synergy going on. The problem is that, like, if you try to get a full party, and given that this set has so much cheap removal, it's hard to keep all your party's members intact. But either way, this can, even if this gets like a discount for 2, it's still 4 mana, gain 3, draw 3 cards at instant speed, which is quite strong. But obviously, it's a card that ties you into 2 colors. The mana fixing is pretty abysmal in the set outside of green, so I wouldn't really consider like Spoils of Adventure a very flexible pick, and it's a card that you definitely want to kind of commit yourself to in the blue-white party control deck to maximize your chances of casting this. So yeah, I don't mind drafting blue-white, but again, the party mechanic can be kind of weak sometimes, since it's pretty hard to pull off all of your party members, and also some of your party members also don't synergize well with each other, or synergize with the 2-color arc. Like, it's weird having wizards and a warrior, for example, in the same deck together, since they're kind of like opposing colors. But if you can get away with it, go ahead. You don't mind playing some filler party creatures, but I consider party more of a minor sub theme in this set. It's not something you really want to like make as a major sub theme and go all in with, since you'll be mostly playing filler creatures as party, and they're not too impactful. That being said, Spoils is pretty strong, even if you don't have a full party. Getting at least 1 or 2 discount can be pretty decent with this, and you can draw a bunch of cards, gain a bunch of life, and then you can maybe outvalue the opponent with this. But easy Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. Block Rotation, okay card. I think some of the NDFCs are overrated, especially this one. It's fine, but yeah, it's not that great. I was still taking the Hiri's Binding over it, as weird as it seems. Alright, I'll take the Sure-Footed Infiltrator. The reason why is, again, I've complained about a million times. I think Dimir is the best archetype in the set and can be incredibly busted. With all the mill synergies, I mean, reason why is, number one, not only do they have the powerful win condition of completely milling your deck out, which is definitely possible in the set, but they have amazing. But number two, they also have amazing support at common, uncommon, and even rare. Like Low Mage's Domination is an uncommon that can steal a creature, which should have been printed as a rare for the Dimir deck. But yeah, they didn't need that card, and then the reason why is they don't need that card is that number three, they have all the efficient removal, Bubble Snares for 1 mana over 4, Vanquish the Weak, Feed the Swarms, even Deadly Alliance, Into the Royal, and yeah, they just have so much removal, balance, and interaction that they didn't need extra stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't mind leaning towards Dimir. This is also another great, excellent uncommon for the Dimir deck. Like, you just tap a rogue, attack, and then you draw a card. That's very good. So yeah, this is another reason why Dimir is pretty strong, because of other amazing uncommons like this. So yeah, I'll probably take the Sure-Footed Infiltrator and lean towards the Dimir deck. I mean, the red-white aggro Warriors deck is also pretty decent. It's just not as well supported as a rogue deck, since most of the payoffs are at uncommon, like the core Blade Master, and then the Lord that pumps your warrior cards. It's just at the common level, there's just not too many amazing payoffs, unlike the Dimir, which has amazing mill synergies and cards that you can flash in and mill. But if you're in a Warriors deck, I don't mind picking this up. I definitely won't take it over to Sure-Footed Infiltrator. Best common, Synchronized Spellcraft. Pretty clunky, but okay. Solid removal spell if you're trying to be aggressive, you know. Deal 4 damage at instant speed at 5 mana is pretty solid, and then you drain the opponent for a bit. So plays best in some sort of blue-red Wizards deck, but still I wouldn't mind main decking one or two copies in a Warriors deck, but maybe just one copy, since you rather have cheap creatures over expensive removal spells. In a warrior deck over a Wizards deck, but easy Sure-Footed Infiltrator. Okay, the Jace is fun. Yeah, blue's the best color. Why not? Take the legendary Planeswalker in blue. Although I don't think this Planeswalker is like completely broken. If you can kick this for 5, which is pretty reasonable, you can make 2 Jace cards, so you can scry 4 pretty much, which is quite decent. And then the -0 ability, where you can just draw a card, and then if the mana cost is, and then you lose loyalty to the mana cost, can be decent if you're running cheap spells, like Royal Eruption, for example, as the best common in this pack. So Jace can be pretty strong. Like, if it doesn't get answered and you have ways to protect it over and over, you can just generate so much value through the scry effects and the card draw that you can just essentially outvalue the opponent. And blue is very controlling in this set, and there's a lot of interaction in blue anyways. So yeah, I wouldn't mind first picking Jace Mirror Mage. Pretty strong mythic. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then best common, obviously, Royal Eruption. There's a Fireblade Charger only for red-white Boros aggro with weapons. I wouldn't play it outside of it. And then people have been I guess there's Rabid Bite as a good removal spell, but I would probably take Royal Eruption over it, since Rabid Bite is still conditional, and red actually has been quite impressive in this set. But overall, it's kind of an all-in strat where you want to be very aggressive, so it's not necessarily the most open color unless you kind of draft Wizards, but yeah, Royal Eruption is quite good. But yeah, Ghastly Gloomhunter is not that amazing. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's a 2-mana 1/1 lifelink flyer. I know Healer's Hawk is good, but this is not Healer's Hawk. Healer's Hawk is 1 mana. Also, keep in mind, it dies to Royal Eruption. It dies to Vanquish the Weak if you kick it for 6. It's still a 6 mana 3/3 creature with lifelink, sure. But it's just very expensive, and it just trades down a lot. So Gloomhunter is okay. Like, I can see myself having it in the deck, but I can also see myself not having it, since it's not a very effective blocker. It doesn't deal with 2/2s. It doesn't deal with 3/2s. It can't even, anything past 1 toughness, it can't really trade or block. But I did main deck one in this draft, but I didn't cast it too much. I think only one game I cast it, which was the first one, which I managed to kick as a 3/3 lifelinker. I think this card is okay. I don't think it's super amazing. I think it's overrated. Same with the Skyclave Pickaxe. Most of the landfall payoffs are going to grow pretty large anyways, so you don't necessarily need a Skyclave Pickaxe. If it came in like with a passive um, um, stat upgrade already, like +1/+0, I think it would be better, obviously, and definitely really good. But for the most part, I see most of the pros avoid it, since it just doesn't come in with any effects unless you landfall and on your turn and attack. So it's a decent card if you're being aggressive with landfall, but overall it's not a very good defensive card. Yeah, I would take spoils over Canyon Jerboa. Like, Canyon Jerboa is pretty solid. I don't think it's super amazing. A 3-mana 1/2 is just not a great blocker. This is a good card if you're like being very aggressive, like if you're in red white, or I guess white green, and you're able to curve out with 1-drops and 2-drops. This card is very good if that's the case. If not, then like against one of the opponents we played against, he just had a Canyon Jerboa out on 3, but no creatures. It's just going to trade down. And it's just not a very effective blocker. But it's a fine card. It can maybe set you up for a landfall deck, but I think it's a little bit overrated. I still think you take spoils over Canyon Jerboa. Yeah, Canyon Jerboa is sure a little bit more flexible, but the power level of spoils is definitely higher than Canyon Jerboa. But it's a reasonable card that I wouldn't mind playing if I was already an aggressive white deck, but easy spoils. Right, Kaza is quite good, but probably still take Into the Royal over Kaza, because it does commit you into the Human Wizards deck, and I don't think it's broken. I think it's a good card. I don't think it's broken enough for me to take over like Into the Royal. It's still a bad blocker. 1/2 is not good at blocking, but if you're playing Wizards, if you're playing lots of instant speed interaction with cards like Into the Royal, then it's a good card. And if you can get this out on turn 2 and ramp your, it does really help you like kick your Into the Royals and spells against that blue-red control opponent, that wizard deck that I somehow thought we would lose against. He curved out Raza into like I think Wind Rider Wizard, and we still beat him. I don't know. I think he just blew his he just used up too much of his spells too early on, and yeah, kind of didn't have like any good win conditions against me. I mean, even though he had his flyers late in the decks, I mean, still he was kind of like he just didn't have any proper ways to close out against me. He just kind of bought his time by killing my stuff, bouncing my stuff, but still we managed to outvalue him with the Felidar Retreat. But yeah, I would still probably take Into the Royal. I still think the mirror is the best archetype. We could end up in white, blue, red anyways. We can end up in blue, green, blue, black, and it just keeps my options more flexible. I don't really want to commit to Graza. I don't think it's a broken bomb. I think it's a good card. I'll be happy to play this in the Wizards deck, but I don't care about first picking it. Same with this MDFC. It's not super amazing since it only gets instants and sorceries, so most of the time you'll be playing it as a land, but still a card I'm happy to play if I'm drafting blue, and there's nothing else amazing in the pack, but easy Into the Royal. I talked to a lot of people about Ravager's Mace. They don't think it's amazing. They think red-black party is a little bit difficult to pull off, and they might be correct. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of red-black drafters going on, but this isn't actually that bad. Like, giving a creature menace is quite nice, and this is a sign that red-black wants to be very aggressive, although it's kind of a little strange, since black is typically the more controlling color in this set, with all the best commons being removal spells, and the red being the more aggressive color, since the best commons are mostly threats and attackers. So it's a strange dichotomy. So I guess it just doesn't mix well. But this is actually not a bad card. But the fact that red and black might have opposing game plans in this set makes it a lot less likely that some of the pros, top drafters, take a Ravager's Mace. Like even Ben Stark rates this more lower than most of the other. Even if he was already drafting red and doesn't know like his second color, he still doesn't like the Ravager's Mace a lot. So I don't know about this. I might try it out one day, but I can see the reason why it's not super impressive, since not only is the party mechanic pretty difficult to get going, but again, red and black are not trying to accomplish the same goal in this set, which red is trying to be aggressive and black is trying to be controlling. So it's a fine card if you can play, I guess, red black good stuff where you just play a bunch of random filler creatures, and this can be decent as a solid way to enhance your creature. But um, I can see why red black doesn't synergize too well in this set. It's the same argument for white blue party, but I think white just does party a lot better than red and black, since most of the best creatures in red tend to not have any tribal party. Like the Geopede, for example, is a geo is it's a Geopede, obviously a Centipede, and I guess there's the Rogues, the Goblin Rogues, which are quite decent. So I don't know. Cineoclasm is also quite decent. Nice sideboard card. Obviously, in red, your creatures tend to be very small. They have low toughness, so you don't necessarily want to main deck Cineoclasm if you're be drafting an aggressive red deck, because it might just backfire and wipe out your own board. But hey, it's a good sideboard card against opposing aggro colors that are trying to go wide and play lots of small creatures. It can be a pretty decent board sweeper, but it's still very situational. Still a sideboard card. And then the commons are like okay, the Mana Sky Dancer for Dimir, Expedition Champion, which for the like a red-white Warriors deck. But yeah, pack one, pick one. I don't know. Probably take the rare land or Mana Sky Dancer and lean towards Dimir. But yeah, this is probably the worst pack out of all the other ones we opened. So yeah, anyways, yep, nice video, nice 7 wins, and we didn't draft blue. So we faced against a bunch of blue opponents, but we didn't draft blue. So maybe it's possible to defeat the Menace in this set. Although I think we only faced against one Dimir opponent, but he didn't really put up that much of a fight. But yeah, we did face against a deck that used low mages domination on us, which wasn't a blue-black deck, but a mono-blue deck, which managed to even stabilize in the late game against us. But yeah, we won against a couple of blue opponents, so I guess that does make me a little bit more optimistic about this set. But yeah, I still think blue can be incredibly broken in this set and overpowered, especially Dimir, obviously, but even mono blue is very strong. But anyways, nice video, and I hopefully release more content soon for you guys to absorb. So have a great day and take care. Bye.